Zulu Nation played a very important part of that. So
Now it can get real deep because I was about to go with a whole different mindset at the end, but you reminded me of something, and I felt the spiritual frequency as you were speaking. I was ready to just say, you know what? We just need to focus on our own individual mental healing and stuff, which is true,
yeah,
and just deal with I didn't even feel like it was anything left to build on, really. But you know what? We have to quit being so judgmental, though, because that's where the whole thing comes from. Nobody is perfect. We all have darkness, and we all have done things that's not right. So with
sure,
that being said, whether it's in the church or whatever, but at the end of the day, we really still fighting this same beast. We
right.
still fighting this same energy of trying to, just we haven't done the healing because we don't know what to do. A lot of people in survival mode. So the first thing they want to do is respond and react to these certain things and beat up each other.
Yeah,
But there's so much that we did bring to even get to this level because we didn't know anything as
right.
slaves. We had to, like Brother Ashra Kwesi said, when your what does he say? When your enemy, not the enemy, but when your oppressor becomes your deity,
Okay.
it's almost like saying he was saying like when we were spiritual people, but they took so much from us that the only spiritual light and salvation that we got was from the oppressor. So
Sure.
now your oppressor has become your deity because they're
Absolutely.
showing us images of the white Jesus and, making us feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
Like what Brother John Henry Clark said, when the way he came into the conscious, or not into the conscious community, but what made him start to research is
Okay.
because he was told by his not master, but the boss, that he had no history.
Right.
He said, I'm sorry, John, Black people have no history. And
Right.
that he was like, that didn't sit right with that brother. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so anyway.
That same story can be said with Malcolm X. Malcolm X told a story in his autobiography when his teacher told him, "Oh yeah, well you'll make a good, like a handyman or like a plumber. Why don't you think
Mhm.
about, you don't have to worry about trying to be a lawyer. How you can fix things in my house. How about that, Malcolm? So
Yeah,
these people put their cap on you so that they can limit you and control you.
right,
So as we're
right.
in our community, one of the biggest things that to our detriment sometimes is, yes, we're all flawed, but at the same time, we have to be accountable for our actions. Sometimes
Absolutely.
we don't hold each other accountable. And we
That's
even
right.
start to blame a victim before we even start to blame the person who did the harm. So it
Absolutely.
doubles the trauma. Not only am I a victim of what you did to me, but now the community that I'm supposed to trust is attacking me. So what
Right,
about these sisters who have been harmed by men that are predatory? They got the
right,
gift of gab. They got the gift of word. They got they know how to use the word to manipulate. So they're in your pockets and they're taking money from
right,
you, or they're taking
right,
sex from you, or they're abusing you
right.
one way or the other. Are you now in a community that will hold that nigga accountable for harming you?
Mm.
Or will
Right.
they blame you and compound the pain that you're going through? If I can't
Mm-hmm.
trust the community, because I mean, we failed many of our elders. Some of the great elders that we've had, Dr. Ben had to like be given money after Dr. Ben worked in the field for over 60 years straight. This man should not have to ask for charity from the community for him to have food or for him to have clothing or for him to have be put into a place of comfort. And Dr. John
Right.
Henry Clark had no money when he
No
died.
money.
After you put in 40, 50, and 60 years, you've gone
This man
blind.
read books so he went blind for us.
Yes.
So he went
And can
blind. And
remember
these
it.
niggas don't even think about it. They don't want to hear about it. You know how
Right.
tired I am of this community? It's even outside of the community because it's like the people that are still indoctrinated with the European way of thinking, they don't even realize the contributions our people have made for us to have
Right.
some knowledge of self, for us to
Right.
be what we are, to be able to have these diatribes that we're having right now. And that pisses me off. Somebody
Yes.
going blind trying to bring us information. Even
And
some of the stuff that we do have in church. Stuff
yes.
like, things that built groups like Kwanzaa and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's very sad
Right.
because those people were rich. Those are rich people. They
Mm-hmm.
so rich in information and spirit and time and energy.
Right.
Like he
And
said, he didn't come
those
here to
men were
debate.
those men and women were pillars. These people were priceless. You know what I mean? If I'm
Right,
looking at what, some of these mighty sisters and some of these mighty brothers who came through, the doctors that they had, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing is priceless to me. So
priceless,
for you
man.
not to understand the value of that, or when I look at how Dr. Clark could give you the page number and the footnotes and be blind, that's to memory. That's in his heart. So that's
And what's the brother
priceless.
name that was with Dr. Francis? What's his name? The one she was studying under. That
Neely
first brought up
Fuller.
the
Neely Fuller.
yes, Neely Fuller. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
Neely
Dr. Neely
Fuller.
Fuller. And so these people are priceless teachers, and their words should be, cherished at the highest level. But we take it for
Right.
granted, we don't necessarily appreciate them. My grandmother taught me it's a poor frog that don't praise his own pond. So if you don't
Mm,
understand the value of what's around you, if you don't understand the greatness that's amongst you, and sometimes we do maybe when they're dead or when they're no longer
right.
among us. Oh, the t-shirts. Oh, I love him so much. Oh, I'm clutching the casket. Oh, he's so great. But what about when I'm amongst you, right? The flowers that I can give to you as my sister, I can give to you now to let you know I
Right.
support you, I love you, and I'm here for you because you're
Same.
alive and I can hear you, right? And I can feel
Right.
you. So that's
Right.
when we should be praising each other and supporting one another. You've praised my the things that I've done, and I'm here to praise and
Absolutely.
support you for the things that you do. That's
Absolutely.
that's the reciprocity that we need to move in. That's the
Mhm.
space that we're supposed to be representing.
Correct. So that's kind of like the issue that I've had, though, mostly with the conscious community. I think because I'm such a pure heart, and I am, I could be a little naive. And
Mhm.
some of the motives that I thought other people had, I felt very safe in the
Right.
Black conscious community when I first went in with these rose-colored glasses. I
Hmm.
felt like I didn't have to worry about jealousy from other Black women because we were all on that peace and sister and hey sister and loving on each other and everything. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Going to African dance class together at Malanga on Alice Street in Oakland.
Hmm.
That's our that was a center because we learned a lot even at places like that. Sometimes it went through the community centers in order for us to get the knowledge and to understand culture. And we would dance and we vend together. If Lita taps in, shout out to Lita Hadley at the Ashby Flea Market vending and just doing stuff. The brothers be, oh, hey, queen, hey, queen. But then, like you said, it was times they didn't protect us. Like I had to walk with my baby, my son, after I leave an event from Soul Messiah and Ciroc Show. They had all of those brothers out there,
Right.
including Tony B. Conscious.
Uh-huh.
If you Tony B. Conscious, that's somebody from the Bay. I mean from
Hmm.
LA. But they let me walk in the dark by myself, like in one of the seediest areas in Oakland. And it's
Right.
like I'm not saying that they had to. That wasn't their job. They had to do that. But damn, I'm a sister. Y'all put us in masculine energy, and they want to say, why do Black women act masculine? Why
Right.
couldn't I'm not worthy enough to walk to the damn subway station that's just a few blocks up the street.
Right.
And they
Right.
were just telling me like, oh, okay, check you later, be cool and all of that type of stuff. And I'm like,
Right. The,
wow,
the ticket was sold. Exactly.
yeah,
And I feel like, you should be putting yourself in an environment to where that protection is necessary.
mhm,
One of the valuable things that you do learn is FOI is to protect your MGT. You protect your sisters. So no, you're
right,
not allowed to catcall and talk to them any kind of way. We'll take your head off. So there's
right,
a
absolutely,
protocol, and to make sure, okay, all the sisters straight. Okay, sister, I can drop you off over here. Where you going at? I'm going on that side of town, brother. Take the sisters over here. You making
right,
sure that your brothers and sisters are where the elderly at. Okay, yes, ma'am. You ready to go? Boom. So
mhm,
you making sure that it's built into the culture. That's very important that we are in control of how we want to represent the quote unquote conscious community too. We need to set
mhm,
standards of accountability. See, these are things that keep it alive. And so the resurrection is something that's of value. So we
right,
hold each other accountable. We make sure that the sisters are protected. We make sure the brothers are protected. As children,
for
you're
real.
supposed to
The brothers
cover
too.
down. Yeah,
The
brothers are
brothers too.
brothers are harmed too. Brothers are traumatized too. Some of us
Now
are
that go back
inside.
to
Mhm.
Bambata. But
Yes.
this is what I wanted to speak to. Just go ahead and finish your thought, and I want to speak to something.
No, I was just going to say that as a community, we can dictate how we want to protect one another. We're in control of that, not anyone else, only us. That's all I wanted to say.
I just want to thank you. I want to speak on the Pluto return real quick. I'm not going to talk about the Pluto return, but just this energy of darkness that is plaguing Earth in it's going to be a lot of mental things going on in 2024. Mental breakdowns, a lot of mental illness. We're going to need a lot of psychologists, a lot of spiritual healers in that way, because I'm a Virgo, and the sixth house is in Aquarius, which deals with the mind. It's going to be sitting in the sixth house for the next 20 years. So that's a lot of trying to change. We got to be focusing on the mind. That's the most important thing. You know, a lot of these things that's happened, even with African Bambaataa. I don't know what went on in Bronx River, but from what I understand, this was something that was well known. I'm gonna just put it out there. You want it juicy? Let's get juicy. But a lot of people did speak from Bronx River of knowing that certain things were happening, and it was kept quiet. And a lot of it could have been kept quiet because we didn't want to. A lot of things I kept quiet that I could say now, because we didn't want to mess up the illusion of what we were trying to build. It was some certain things that's so great that we hid things because we didn't want to mess up the illusion. The same way, like, and I'm not saying we as in me, I'm saying the collective we. Yes. Because there's people older than me that I didn't even know what was going on. Right. But even in you know, in Hollywood, the same things are happening, and people are getting upset because they didn't want to mess up the magic of Disney. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So it's time now, though, because we're moving into a place of more truth. After this war type energy goes in through the earth, we're coming into the golden age that we've been fighting to get to and been waiting for. The planets are lining up. Things are changing. People that want the old world, that's over with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So as many things that need to be brought out, and it could be embarrassing, but they need to be exposed so that they can be healed. That's why we have to deal with the darkness in ourselves. Because even things with like the R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, whoever it is, bro, we all brothers and sisters still. Right. Whether they choose to be conscious or unconscious. Right. Right? So if we don't understand what is in the dark, we can't. How long has this been going on with children getting molested in their homes and shit? This ain't no new stuff. This ain't just to the conscious community. This is to church people and everybody. How long has these deeds been taking place in our homes, different things, and in our communities that we never look at, right? So when these things are coming out, they may come out in a way that's uncomfortable, but we need to deal with some of our own demons to make ourselves better. Like you said, the accountability. If nobody wants to deal with the beast, because why are they doing all of these things? They don't even speak to the fact that on the plantations, the black men were being raped, just like the sisters. They want to only focus on mulattoes and black women and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it was a lot going on. We have a lot happening on this planet. It's a lot of people that's been harmed in our communities and stuff and need a lot of healing. And we got to be a lot more loving and a lot more patient with each other. Yes, sir, David. We all fall short, man. You know, absolutely. But go ahead, speak to, I was just speaking to, you know, us reconciling that. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, we got to embarrass people and stuff like that, but because it's a lot of things that people, even in my own community, have done that is not favorable, but it's still people I still love, though, that even though that they might have done something that's not right. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I feel you. I don't know. You was locked into a whole different vibration right now. I don't know if you was blacked out, or if you was locked in. I don't know, but you was going in just now. But you're right. You know, we're only as sick as our secrets. And with that,
that's the whole word. No, I am locked in because it's the spirit at work. Because like I told you, you brought the spiritual vibration in along with me when you said that it's still, because that was the question. Is this still relevant? That's what this whole talk is about. Right. And so we can move to some other stuff because, you know, it can get deep. You know, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you said you had some time, but is there anything that you want to bring up before I look at anything else? Because we kind of didn't, you know, we went on a lot of things.
We did. We covered a lot of different things.
Before even, without even embarrassing other people, because I didn't want to, you know, how we just kind of, you know.
Yeah, no, it's no problem at all. I want to give a shout out to one of my greatest conscious influence.
Okay.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Come on.
I mean, I look at the magnificence of the imagery that I needed as a child, right?
Come on, man.
I needed to see Egypt that looked like me. I needed to
Serpentine
see
fire.
serpentine fire, right? Written in the stone, right? Love
Come
is written
on.
in the stone, right?
Come
So
on.
I needed superheroes. I needed superheroes that look like me, that can relate to me. So if that group came out of Chicago, and I could hear those Phoenix horns playing, and I could see Maurice White as that front man, and I could see Verdine on the guitar, and I could see, Philip Bailey, what I mean, doing his
Doing
beautiful,
his thing.
him looking like me, and I'm hearing the beauty and the strength that comes from all of that. Shout out
Mm.
to Earth, Wind, and Fire being one of my
Hey, you just
greatest
brought it up.
influences.
Shout out to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Because on my lineup, they like the next song playing. It's Bayo, but that's still them. So they the
see,
energy present. It's right here.
see. So those elements of Earth, Wind, and Fire and what they represented is something that's priceless. They're one of the greatest groups. Them and like Stevie Wonder,
Shaka
those
Khan.
Shaka Khan, right? Those entities and that energy was necessary at that time. I could look at black movies and see strength in Jim Brown and Fred Williamson and true manhood. Fred Williamson had a contract where you could never kill him in a movie. They go, what?
Mm.
What? You can't kill me in a movie. I'm not being
Because
in a
that's
movie.
spiritual. He's not trying to be in
Yeah.
those parts of those rituals and spells and
Nah,
shit.
exactly. You ain't killing me off the first 5 minutes. I'm Fred Williamson. You know what I'm saying?
That
So
is
we
crazy.
needed to
That's
have that
facts.
kind of sisterhood and Pam Grier beauty and the strength of all of that. And that really
Absolutely.
contributed to who we are. So shout out to that part of the
Ashe.
consciousness that we all needed. Yeah.
Ashe. Shout
Yeah.
out to Earth, Wind, and
Ashe.
Fire. Shout out to Fred Williamson. Is
That's
that I
right.
said it right?
Yep,
That's
yep.
before my time,
Three the
but hey.
Hard Way, Jim Brown, all of
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
all,
yeah. Totally.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Totally, totally. Parliament and
Parliament.
P-Funk. Oh hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We needed the George Clinton funk in our life. We needed all of those elements. Lakeside. We
Dr.
needed,
Funkenstein.
you feel me? So shout out to that level of consciousness that we needed, that message, that vibration,
Shout out.
that presence,
What? And from what I'm understanding, they used to tell me in the Bay, so some of the older people, because I was brought in with some of them too, Dr. Funkenstein was a real professor at UC Berkeley.
Ah, okay. I can see it. And it probably would have come from that area
That's his
too. Okay.
moniker, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Somebody else too we need to look at, and I would ask people to really, really tap into Sun Ra, the god Sun Ra. He was a master teacher and master musician. I
Yes.
played his song in the opening last week. I play his stuff a lot. But he has a lecture. You just Google Sun Ra lecture and it says lecture at Berkeley, part 1
Okay.
and part 2. That's
Uh-huh.
heavy.
Okay.
And just some of those, he talked a lot about the words, what they
Mm-hmm.
call dead words,
Yes.
and how we just constantly casting spells on ourselves by word vibration.
Uh-huh.
I read the good of my list first, and I don't even feel the need to read the bad because we covered it in a collective way of how we're trying to build. So I
Yeah,
think we can go ahead and get into some of the questions of other people too, real quick, and
for
because I don't
sure.
want to,
For
Well,
sure.
this is one of yours too. What you think it was? So, what do you think is missing? This is one of the questions that you did pose. What do you think is missing in the conscious community?
Which is one of the things that we did bring up was proper accountability. You know,
Accountability.
for those, we even just can't even limit it to who's in the conscious community. Where, you know, are we brave enough to make sure, because we have to wait until all the information comes out. But when somebody, brings up the situations like Diddy, that happens, are we able to hold our quote unquote stars accountable for what they do? And also look at the brilliance of what they brought to the table. You did these brilliant things in our mind. You brought in and represented the culture when we needed it. But goddamn it, you got blood on your hands from over here too. So can we hold you accountable? And yeah, we are going to hold you accountable for what you did. No different than we would
Absolutely.
a politician. You come in when it's election time and preach and dance in the churches every day, but then you forget
Yes,
about us when you get back into office. Can we hold you
absolutely.
accountable for coming to us?
Absolutely.
If you can't, then don't come to us and leave us alone.
Exactly. And also, and yeah, shout out to Gil Scott Heron, the last poets, absolutely.
Right.
Pharaoh Sanders. This is some of the ones they putting out in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
But and that kind of goes, oh man, it's so much. Cause I know you're right, I'll go underwater on these fools. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take that shit to the ocean. Because that goes back to this. we got to get out of that exclusivity. Say it for me, brother.
Yeah,
My tongue is
exclusivity.
tied.
Yep.
Because that's another thing that also stops us from growing as a culture. I remember a time where anybody that wasn't conscious, I didn't have two words for them.
Right.
I went through this space like, oh, you don't get it. They had some hair on like this. Oh, I go in like that. Looking at them all crazy, like,
Yeah.
So, but being that we're all Black people, and the whole idea of being conscious is to get the message out, not to keep it in.
Right.
So those people are still our brothers and sisters. And since we see that we're no different, really. Right. That's what I really wanted to touch on too. Do we get more in a diversified mindset versus a conscious community? Does the conscious community grow into more of a worldview? Because we are evolving. We're going into the age of Aquarius. So with that being said, sometimes I didn't worry about celebrities because I felt like they weren't us. Yes. But some of them are us. Look at Jay-Z. Right. And people like that. And like you said, part of this conscious movement came from 5% groups and stuff like that. So right. We can't treat them like they nobody. That's like saying if a kid get killed in the street, if they're not conscious, then we don't look at that. And as you pointed out earlier, social media makes us all closer. We can interact with these people closer than we ever could before. And absolutely. Our words have power. Sometimes absolutely. If you say something malicious or mean-spirited, you're hurting someone's feelings. They have feelings too. So the world does make us smaller. And as they get older, we now interact with our stars in a much closer setting. I can go to a Big Daddy Kane concert, and now me and Big Daddy Kane might be in VIP right next to each other, because now we're older and we can move in that space of closeness. So let's be careful of the energy that we put out and make sure we're coming in the right spirit too. You're right, because sometimes we be trolling, we be talking shit. Right. I went in on Will because everybody be going in on Jada. So I had to just, make sure we don't forget 6 degrees of separation, because I'm messy. I went in on Will because everybody be going in on Jada. So I had to just, make sure we don't forget 6 degrees of separation, because I'm messy. But they somebody cousin, right? They somebody cousin, somebody, right? Yeah. Right, but we do her a long time ago when we had Yahoo Messenger and different stuff like that. We trolled all the time because it was internet. We didn't look at it like a real life, and it's not real. So I'm glad you brought that up, because as we move into the age of Aquarius, we're moving more into consciousness and then more into technology and things like that. So people be saying it's just internet, but internet is real. And then that mindset is what made me not take my platform serious at first, because it's just internet. Right. But there's people that's waiting to hear my message. And if I'm going to start something, I can't just, it's internet, I don't feel like it, I'm going to just sleep today, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I realize that celebrities, they are people. And with the space we're in now, things are being brought down, where we all can just simply be people again. That's why people don't respect celebrity no more. They have social media kind of destroyed that. Where we would only dream about celebrities back in the day. We couldn't touch Michael Jackson. No, these were stars that were unreachable. Exactly. And like I said, we as we grow older, we become parents, we become grandparents, and we have to understand that a lot of people we may critique have children. And they have grandchildren too. So the energy that we put out, their grandchild might hear that, or their child might hear that. I wouldn't want somebody's child to be harmed by something that I said just because I was flipping. I said something out of pocket. I had to reevaluate how I was addressing Minister Farrakhan with my disagreement in Scientology. I was in my feelings and my pain of what I saw him doing, but my tone was disrespectful to somebody who, number one, it wasn't worthy of that. But number two, it was, well, let me curve it so that I can make sure that the message that I do want to get out is not being misconstrued. To make sure that the people can understand this ain't some insane person talking. This is somebody who is putting his emotion aside and dealing with the facts and deconstructing it that way. So I had to check myself and just make sure, okay, let me reset. And let me make sure that I'm dealing with him as an elder, as I'm supposed to do, and still be able to separate it from what I'm disagreeing with you about, and not be so flip or disrespectful about it. So I'm really about the healing, because we're not perfect. I mean, a lot of this stuff, even like in Texas, we call it hoorahing. In New York, I think they say flaming.
Sure.
In California, they say capping. A
Mm-hmm.
long time in New York, they say dirty dozens. I think that was like some black people would say.
Right.
But that's a part of our culture,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of cap on people and talk shit, and we do it in fun. But
Yeah, we
sometimes
Jones
it
on one
is,
another. We always Jones.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we like to do say little stuff,
Right.
but it does hurt when you're the butt of that.
Right.
Some people are better at it than others. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't good at that. I'll go real harmful because I don't know how to do it in a way that's, like the comedic way. I'll
Right.
just say some shit like, that's why your mama got rats, just some, such crazy shit.
Right. Right.
Your mama on crack rock, I'm just playing, never that.
Right. But I feel
You
you.
ain't supposed to say our water got cut off, that's going below the belt. So I don't play those games. But
Yes.
still, I do it in ways that, in my trolling type sense. But just her coming to me like that, and I could just feel the hurt through her message being an impact.
Sure.
And I wasn't even meaning it like that. I don't even know who this woman is. I don't know what
Right.
her message is. I wasn't trying to tear her down. She just
Mhm.
had a sponsored ad, and I'm just going through the stream, just commenting on it. But
Right.
that's still our community. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
It
So
is. It is. And in our community, we have to give each other grace and give each other space, right? So sometimes
that's
it's like,
grace and space.
you
I
know
like
what,
that.
bro? I didn't mean to come at you like that, bro. I was having a bad day, or you know what? I put that on me. If you read that the wrong way, that wasn't my intent. I apologize to you, family. And then, we'll
Hmm.
be able to go forward from that. We need to have that kind of community space where we can heal and we can just say, you know what? Yeah, I apologize to you. And I ain't no less of a man for apologizing to you for that, sister or brother.
Absolutely. I have a question that came from the outside of the live, but Jeffrey might actually tap in. You never know. He could be going through through the lives. But he said it was okay to say his name and everything. So the question is, again, do you think it's relevant? And do you know Jeffrey, right?
I've seen
Jeffrey
before. Yeah.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From this the conscious, this our community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was back to, do you think it's relevant for Black people to keep pushing for unity within a Black conscious community? Now, Jeffrey does go back. He has a long history with Moors and Nuwapians and a lot of the other moves. He's, well educated, been to a lot of the HBCUs and different, universities and stuff. So he looking at it on both levels. He says, charity starts at home, then spreads abroad. It's too much groupthink. And everyone is, that's what has everyone pandering to so-called leaders. There has to be self-reliance and accountability first and foremost. So what do you think of that?
I like that. I like that question that you're asking, Brother Jeffrey. Um, I would say, just as a reminder, that self-preservation is the first law of nature. So
Right.
if you're on that plane and it's going down, they tell you to put your mask on first before you even put it on the child or the person next to you. Put your mask on first and deal with your self-preservation first, and then you'll be able to kind of look at the people next to you and the people that are outside of your immediate
Right.
community. They also
Right.
say that all politics are local. You worry about what's in your local area first, and then from there it emanates to your state, your county, and everybody else from there. So there's nothing wrong with you looking out for yourself and your immediate circumference first. That's what a wise person would do. So we need
Absolutely.
unity, but that unity starts with us working on ourselves first.
Absolutely, because that's part of the problem, though, that I
Yeah.
wanted to also touch on. Like, I don't know so much, like such a big topic, so we can't touch on everything, but
Mm-hmm.
even a lot of the mental illness. What I've seen is a lot of misplaced anger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, also because consciousness, it goes, like I said, from the colleges
Mm-hmm.
to the ghetto to the
Yeah.
prison system. You're going to have all different types of mindsets. You
Mm-hmm.
asked another question. You said, you asked, where's the metaphysics?
Yeah.
And is it working? See, so some people that's more into like and we need them too, the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the soldiers, they're not into the spirituality part of it. They want to see action now. You think Huey P. Newton was really concerned about all this other shit? No, they worried about what's happening in the community right now, what they can move on. That's what they were concerned with. A lot of people think like that because they don't have knowledge of self. Or they have it, but you get what I'm saying? They don't have spiritual knowledge of self. They have just the knowledge of being Black, and that's one aspect of it. But
Right.
we have to still, put that balance with spirituality with it, because every society, like in Africa and things like that, they always incorporate it before going to war or anything. That spiritual element has to be there. That's the part of it.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah, that's just that piece. It's lacking. So what do you think of that though? The metaphysical, yeah, you said, is it effective? Do you think it's effective? Has it been effective?
The metaphysical is effective. Myself, I practice Islam, and it's called jihad when you wage war on yourself. When you wage war on
Yeah,
yourself, you're at war with your higher self and your lower self. And within that higher and your lower self is where you'll be able to make that war in order to purify yourself and make yourself a better human being. So in other words, if
absolutely.
I wanted to measure the length of this part of this ceiling to that part
Hmm.
of the ceiling, I can go
Hmm.
get a tape measure and go get myself a ladder, and I can measure how long that's going to be. Or I can simply go and measure the floor. If I measure the floor, it's
Right,
going to be the same distance. So as
right.
above, so below. The things that I'm trying to
Mm.
construct and perfect myself outside of myself, I want to perfect inside of myself. So that's where I need that feeding. I need to make sure somebody can tap into, man, maybe I need some more insight of something that's going on internal. Or how do you see this,
Mm.
sister, brother? What is the universe telling you? Maybe there's a message in that. And in that will be making me a better human being too. So that's the difference, outside and inside, above, below.
Absolutely. I'm gonna try to get somebody to screen record this because I'm on my Android, my iPhone. I use it for something else, and see if we can chop this up and get it on because one of my phones are broke. Get it on like TikTok and different because this is a great and it's a powerful bill.
Yeah.
And I think more people should hear it. So I do have two more questions. You can stay with me, or you can, I know I have had you for a while, but this is actually not questions, these are comments.
Oh, okay.
These are people's comments, okay?
Yeah,
So
witnesses.
so there's another woman, this one is from a lady from the Bay. She's a teacher's aide. Her name is Mary B. Conscious.
Mm-hmm.
That's her little. So the same question, do you think is relevant, for us to continue to push unity in a community type of arena? Um, she said there is too much gatekeeping to be effective and too many different agendas and not enough concern about the well-being of women and children, which we kind of did touch on a little bit of the accountability with the women and the children too, and stuff like that. The
Right.
gatekeeper, no, I don't, that's facts. And that's in. Do you think gatekeeping is something in like brother Jeffrey spoke to group think? That's still the same kind of mindset. Do you think gatekeeping is necessary? I just had the same discussion in the hoodoo group who think that we should gatekeep certain things, but they were speaking more like from white people. But sometimes, like even with the Moors,
Mm-hmm.
the people that was running stuff in Oakland, the girl was kind of gatekeeping. Like she knew I wanted to be a part of it. I'm gonna get you the application, and then she just left me hanging.
Right.
So stuff like that. So what do you think of that? Is that
To be protective of something is wise. To be protective of sacred knowledge or your culture or your
mm-hmm,
your internal your internal workings, that's wise. So that
mm-hmm,
form of gatekeeping is okay.
mm-hmm,
The other part of gatekeeping is just as influential on me as Dr. Khalid was Brother Steve Coakley,
mm-hmm,
as a brother who would teach me how to address gatekeeping. He wasn't into no boule gatekeeping the black community, right? He was into
right.
exposing those people who would try to be quote unquote gatekeepers, the talented 10th, the boule, those people.
W.E.B. Du Bois and all of that.
There you go, W.E.B. and Du Bois. So he was all
Mm-hmm,
about exposing those people who were quote unquote gatekeeping with an intent that was not to our best interest. So
mm-hmm.
sometimes gatekeeping can be wise if it's something that's sacred, or we need to expose those niggas who's keeping us down and maybe working with somebody else who's trying to keep us in check. So there's a fine line between both. We just have to differentiate what lane we want to come in.
What lane want to come in? Absolutely. So I'll get to Eddie in a second. So you asked about solutions. I've been wondering this for a long, long time. Why can't we have something that's similar to United Nations amongst the conscious groups? One collective where there's representatives from each one, so we can really. That's nation building.
It is. It is. And then that's where we're talking about moving from local to global, right? We do need to
Mm-hmm.
be having equal seats at the table as members of our conscious community. We should be able to have our flag of what we represent, our ideologies, have an equal seat at the table to say, okay, so now let's set up some land trust so we can go and start buying some land and grow our own foods from this town and from this city and from this city. We can set up our own distributions. We can move our own healthy foods that we don't got to worry about that has pesticides on it, and we can network
Right.
amongst ourselves. So yes, we
Right.
can do that, and nothing's stopping us from doing that. Only our
No,
mindsets
our
are stopping
mind.
us from doing it. We have money, and we even
Right.
have sometimes the desire to do it. We just don't
Right.
necessarily, we're not sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we don't know the
No.
value of one another. Because generally, once we start to trust somebody, the nigga shit comes in. As soon as we start to trust somebody, they bring in the characteristics of exploiting us, and then we have to start all over again. This brother promised me this, and this brother used our money for X, Y, and Z. Or he's the, or this sister exploited us. That's the problem that we have. So accountability.
The power corrupting. And that's why spirituality and principle, the Mayat, the laws of Mayat and things like that, even the principles of Islam is
Yeah.
so important, because we need to, I always tell men, and I'm that girl. I be telling men, I be like, don't let your sexual desire destroy your empire that you're building, because the sad part is at the end of the day, that's all that sticks out.
Sure.
You gotta be smoother than that. When you
Right.
know you got all of these people that rely on you, man. Remember what I said? We come in this place broken. We
Right.
come in sad. We come in looking for answers. We looking for all of these things, and we have to be responsible and mature enough to be those things. Even in church, that happens. Nobody should have to be afraid going to church.
Right.
You got a brother working over the youth organization. Why is your 25-year-old ass, harassing these little 13-year-old girls and shit? And I
Right.
know it happens, but some 13-year-old girls is with it. But
Yeah.
my point is, we have to. That's the accountability part.
It
I wouldn't want
is.
nobody hitting on my damn 13-year-old or something like that. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And
And
and,
that's
it,
where
and
we drop the ball as far as the things that we want to achieve, and we have to make sure. Look, let's put safeguards in place so that it doesn't stop with just one person. We got to stop from being Messiah-led people. We have to move
yeah,
as a body. If we move as a body, then if one person gets voted out or something, the whole movement doesn't stop. That's the
right.
movements that we have to make.
That's why that's where that panel comes in at.
Yes.
Because even they can be voted down
Yes. Yes.
by
Exactly.
we the people.
And that's
And
the
it's
government
important.
that's
But
necessary.
what year were you born in, brother?
67.
Okay, so you right before that Pluto class came in. But the
Mm-hmm.
point is, we were here to destroy those systems.
Yeah.
The worst, the ones they call in the demon time, that's the
Mm-hmm.
kids of Uranus. That's pure
Correct.
destruction. See,
Yes.
the people can't decide how the frequency shifts,
Mm-hmm.
because the frequency shift is already taking place.
Yes.
So we have to acclimate to certain things, because the energy, like even like people, like they don't want to see the destruction. They
Mm-hmm.
get, when you ask about well, as soon as we start trusting each other, the betrayals come in. But that's because people are so comfortable, or you say they don't have a desire to make certain things happen. They
Yeah.
may have the desire but not the gumption or the
Mm-hmm.
energy. But
Yep.
that's that barrel frequency I keep talking about. They
Mm-hmm.
so comfortable in that frequency. That's a spell that has to be broken,
It takes courage.
because
Yep.
yeah, it takes a lot of courage to do that and to make that first stance. The sad part is people like us and many others that are really out there trying, they'll just shit and shun on us. And we have the right energy that really I want to give to this purpose. The
Yes.
same way I talk online, there's brothers and sisters that I have taught that don't give me a penny, and I'll talk on them to the phone till I'm blue in the face. And I've been doing that for years.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And they'll go off and build great platforms, and they don't even consider me. But
Mm-hmm.
that's okay, because I'm here to give the information and they do what they need to do with it. But
Understood.
at the same time, a shift is changing. We still the elders now. We're becoming the elders. We're not all the way the elders, but we don't have to think we got to throw in the towel because may not be young enough to be out there protesting anymore. We still are, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as we're aging and stuff like that, but they still need us, because this generation, some of them are so lost, and just the values have slipped so much.
Right.
And even the anger that's going on with the youth, I think we have to listen to it, because they're hollering to help break down this rigid structure
Yeah.
that has so many, because politics shouldn't be that enmeshed in our Black movement, the politics of other people, but they'll come through with money and different things to sway us from you know, what the purpose is.
And that's
So
kind
that's
of where
pretty
we
much.
that's kind of where we lose our way at. Somebody will, dangle money or, get some
Mhm.
popularity or something, and we start to get fixated on that, and we end up taking our eyes off the prize. So as soon as we kind of get the core values and what our mission and what our vision is, and we move as a government or a united body, that's the unity that I'm talking about, that united body or government that we need to move in.
Coming in with that lack mindset. That lack mindset is what make us act like niggas.
Yeah.
Because you coming in with that, as soon as somebody give you a little attention,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even like the way, and I'm gonna say it, Brother Polite did this. He
Sure.
couldn't wait to drop the damn flag and run off. He was the main one, but he always did talk about money. But I'm just saying he was the main one
Yeah.
that just, oh, the black woman is God and all of that. Next thing you know, he dated damn white girls in Hollywood. He forgot all about it.
Exactly. Every
You know,
Rolls
just
Royce and Ferrari and just, courtside and just say, yeah, them niggas over here. Yeah, exactly. Just that
and
quick.
his accountability was this. He said, yeah, I mean, I know I said what I said, but I mean, the nigga still got some of that play in him, like stuff that I didn't get to have when I was, that's the stuff. That's that
Right.
childhood trauma I'm talking about, man. You
Yes.
know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to, you know, like I said, the last statement, and then we can close, if, you know, whatever statements you have. This is from Eddie Grooms. He's from Bronx, 63 years old, entrepreneur. He was the only one really that said yes. The Black conscious community, because he's 63, he said yes. It's definitely still relevant. He said, in order for us to get back to oneness, we have to apply collective work and responsibility. He said we need to incorporate, like we once did, the Kwanzaa principles. So he went into that. He
Yep.
said, just going into the principles is unlocking the memory.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about unlocking. This is how you were speaking to me. You spoke to me back to how I started off, because I was like on some shit like, you know what? I ain't got time for these niggas. That's why I've been acting away and moving different.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just get so, it's so
Right.
frustrating. You know, like, come on, man, I'm over it. You know, we poor righteous teachers out here and shit. I'm trying to pay my bills.
Right.
Uh, but he said it's important to celebrate Kwanzaa because it's not a holiday or a celebration or a trend. It's a culture and a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. As we
So
said,
we kind of spoke to that earlier on,
yeah,
but
as we said, it's not a holiday, it's a cultural reminder. And those principles are
mhm,
something that's tapped into the eternal. It's something that's tapped into to us in the motherland, whether the motherland's in Africa, whether the motherland is where your place of origin. It's all about your core values and who makes you who you are. That's what Kwanzaa is supposed to represent. It's bigger than the person that even originally delivered it. Because again, we're not a Messiah-led people. Whether that person lives or dies, the quote unquote cultural reminder has to remain if it's supposed to be there.
absolutely. And I just want to say this: this conversation is so big and so full. We've been talking like 2 hours. Me and you probably been talking like an hour and a half, but I was on here like 2 hours,
Right,
right?
right.
I don't really care, but yeah, this conversation is so big, though. I think that there's room for more, and it's not about just speaking to all of we already covered some of the past things, and we can still touch on some of those, but
Yeah.
now building that new conscious community, that NU, that new conscious community is about dealing with solutions and dealing with truth, and really putting things in, you know, focus on that mental elevation, because that's the only thing that's going to help the people. I did
Mm-hmm.
speak to some hard degrees that's coming in when you said I went deep, because I already know and see some of the things that's about to happen. I
Right.
already see it in the hood with people killing their own children. I see
Mm-hmm.
it with people killing their mamas and daddies. And when people are confused and you take their options away, that
Yeah.
make people go crazy. That's
Yes.
when people are gonna rob more and stuff like that. And being that there's a lot of cognitive dissonance because things are being exposed, they don't know what to do. So we
Right.
have to continue to be sensitive, because there's a lot of wounded people, Christians on the tears even, that
Mm-hmm.
that may be looking to join in to are looking for communities, looking for healing. And if we sitting here being the same way from what they gotten away from, then, you know, all of that negative foul stuff that we've done collectively, it has messed up the unity in the community. The people even wanting to build community, even trusting anybody, and they start doing all kind of crazy stuff because you lose hope.
Right.
You know
Understood.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if you're shunning people, you know, it's a lot that I want to cover, but we covered so much tonight and it's so full. Even treating people like they're not your type of black.
Right.
Like, you know, because the girl, like I said, may come in like this or with straight hair or whatever it is. But what I found out, because I want to also talk about 2020. The conversation, I let spirit just lead it to where it needed to go.
Sure.
But 2020 was where I just lost my mind at,
Mm-hmm.
because the people that I thought were the most conscious were the most not conscious. And the people
Yes.
that you would say sit there and say with the old school perms and press,
Yeah.
They have some of the most conscious spirits and mindsets about productive solutions than people that even had afros and dreadlocks.
Understood. Understood.
So that's a whole nother conversation. But I think that we owe these babies that came into this community during Trayvon Martin era and stuff like that,
Right.
thinking that we had all of these answers. We dropped the damn ball again. And so it's like, and it's even worse than ever now because they have so much bitterness towards all of these scandals that's come out and shit like that.
Right.
I was just bamboozled in 2020. I mean, literally, I didn't even know what to say. I was excited. I was angry, but because I had so much hope, all of the shit we talked about in my little sensationalized mind, I
Right.
just knew we were there. Oh, it's time. It's revolution. You know, I'm all excited and shit.
Right.
And
Right.
these niggas dropped the ball again.
Understood. And
You know, but
and
I'm,
ultimately they'll hold us accountable for the things we do or the things that we didn't do, because we
right.
are, as you accurately said, we're sliding into an eldership position, so we're responsible, because that element that are a little bit older than us, they are fading away. Age and time takes its course, so as we slide into eldership position, that accountability comes on our shoulders too. So you're right, we're supposed to
Absolutely.
guide them with wisdom, we're supposed to guide them with love, we're supposed to guide them with accountability. A lot of the people who come
Absolutely.
after us aren't very accountable. They're very,
No.
standoffish and very flip with their comments. But there has to be
Right.
accountability and teaching them firmness with love and injustice, So we do have to kind of embrace those principles too as we get older.
And this one last thing, my son called me before the live, and he's been trying to get on this Islam path, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he's a Gemini, Lord, but I know some very great brothers in Islam that are happen to be Geminis, like brother Muhammad Ali Muhammad.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he is.
Say what you want about him, but that boy's an awesome debater.
Yeah.
He's one of the most intelligent brothers, I've
Yeah.
heard,
Shout out to Chief Ali.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I love Ali
absolutely.
Muhammad. Absolutely.
Absolutely. For real, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
heard him hold it down with the Sarai suit and settings, and
Yep.
but that brother's so articulate. I love Islam. I would
Mm-hmm.
say that out of all of the factions, Islam has made such a mark because of the character
Mm-hmm.
that Islam has. My son, that was what he saw. When
Mm-hmm.
I would take him to the Return of the Gods and stuff, he like, I want to be like them. He's talking about Professor Griff and like some of the soldiers, the Oakland Liberation Movement, and just different people that street soldiers of Oakland. They do work out there and make sure we're protected at events and
Right.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you were saying that Islam don't allow that disrespect, and
Yeah.
we were at the Return of the Gods, and one of the brothers was being fly, probably a Christian, being
Mm-hmm.
fly by the tongue and gonna call one of the sisters a B, and he was
Right.
instantly taken down and
Yeah.
pulled out.
Facts.
All the
That's
way.
right.
And
Yep.
and Griff announced on the thing, like, your son, ma'am, said his mama name on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Your son has been escorted out, so he'll be there after the situation, or you can go and meet him or whatever, but we're not gonna tolerate that.
Absolutely.
And then my son was so impressed, and my son was only 11. So he all
Right.
like, mama, so we don't want to drop the ball because those little things, like things that even happen in church, it can put such a bad taste in your mouth that you lose the people. And that's
Correct.
what I tell people also about spirituality. Don't start all of that woo-woo shit scaring people away before they have a real experience of what spirituality is. You
Correct.
come in there talking about spells and witchcraft and shit, and that scares some people.
Spook them out.
So
Exactly.
yeah, spook them
Mm-hmm.
out before we even can get to a level. You doing a seance or some shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, brother Bay, yes, I don't know what we can do to continue these type of bills, but there's something that we should be working on and contributing to, instead of just having the same arguments and stuff that's unproductive for where we are in the new world, because there's a lot of
Well,
changes coming in.
I want you to know, Cisco, that, I want to thank you so much for having me. This was an excellent, continuation of our prior conversation.
Welcome.
I think
Hmm.
that this is just another kind of link in the chain of further conversations of things that we need to discuss and talk about. I want to thank you personally in front of everyone to
Thank
let you
you.
know that you've always been someone that I hold value in as far as your words of wisdom. Even if I have to get like insight on some things, I've always been able to come to you, and you've always given me the honest and the truth just to give me more insight. I know that there's things that you see that I can't see. I know that there's things that you see that many of us can't see because you are in tune with a lot of different things. So in doing that, it's somebody that I
I
respect,
said,
and you'll
thank
always
you.
have access for me to be able to come to the show and be able to share or give my humble, wisdom and insight. And I want to thank you for what you do for us.
Thank you.
We don't take you for
Thank you.
granted. Thank you, sis.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need to hear that sometime. And yeah, one day I hope that we're sitting on like some couches, like brother, what was that other one named? Israel, the one that made the I don't even want to go there because he's so damn controversial. He had definition of the broke ass.
What was that?
You don't know him?
No,
Okay, look, I said the title, you guys, but look, I want to just go ahead and put a disclaimer. When you get off this live with me, go to YouTube. You're gonna be fucking floored. And go look up definition. Go look up just what I said.
I will.
But yeah, because if I'm putting it this way, he done got kicked out of a couple of countries with his shit. But that's my boy. I didn't even add him to this page because I couldn't do his shit. He too conscious. The nigga too black. He's so black. I said I ain't gonna put him on this page because we gonna have some problems with something.
Right. I don't want it to get sticky in here. Exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you. So thank you. I appreciate you. And anything if you wanna add or want that name, because that's some funny shit. Some real shit though. For real. Hit me up in my inbox. And if anybody got any questions, I'm gonna take a quick intermission and I'm gonna be on for about another 10 minutes or so. So, if anybody wanna say something, add something or whatever. And I'm gonna still rock out because I want to close this energy out. It's full in here right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end with my song "Ride," which was when the Trayvon Martin stuff happened and we started our riots and stuff again. I made "Ride" as like a little anthem or theme song, and it didn't seem like at first I was being a little radical, but no, and actually everything was just taking place just like that. Some of my songs are actually now more relevant because people thought I was a little, we're not in the conscious community, it's acceptable, but I'm speaking more to mainstream stuff. A lot of the stuff that we talked about, they can see it playing out, and that's what, when we can see people, show people,
right.
We all do agree with certain things, regardless of what we believe, what religion we in or whatever, certain things that we just feel as a community. And that's the reason why Eminem could never be the greatest MC.
Sure. That's right.
He's a great MC.
Absolutely.
A great wordsmith. Right. But he can never be who we call, especially people linked to hip hop, real hip hop. Right. He'll never be what we call the greatest MC because he don't share that what hip hop is. No. Higher infinite powers healing our people.
Sure.
Right.
At the most, all he'll do is be somebody that can mimic. He doesn't come from that, that original stock as far as the creativity in that space. He doesn't come from that space. And even
the pain. Right. The pain, what hip hop is, the newspaper. Right. And I want to just say one thing before I go and before I let you go, and just for everybody. Me and Brother Grooms was talking about this, the one that gave the last comment. A lot of times people want to blame rap. They want to blame trap music. They want to blame all this different stuff, movies, and say that, we're making the world bad. But let's just keep it 100. Everything that we create, art is an imitation of life. So that goes back to the part that needs to be healing and us dealing with duality. I think when we deal with polarity, people even get a better understanding of what the balance of dark and light is really about. Right. But these are things that are happening in the hood. When I spoke on Bronx River and different things and in our regular communities in Chicago, these kids are hurting. These things are really happening. And all rap and art do is show what they know from their community. What Erykah Badu said, where is hip hop going? She said, shit, where are we going? Yeah. Because hip hop is a reflection of us first. So it's the lifestyle that is creating the art, not the other way around. Correct. And I just wanted to make that a point because people need to get off hip hop because all they doing is showing you what's. So if you feel disrespected and it's just that distasteful, then you need to be doing more community work. Yes. That means you need to be doing something to be a change into the world, be a light. Right. If you don't like what they're doing, because they're only doing what they know. That's why I don't blame Sukihana and all of them. That's her truth. So whatever it was, but that's her truth. Correct. And she just owning her shit, and it makes people uncomfortable when ratchet people own their ratchetness. That's who she is. Yeah, that's her commentary. Now, all we can do is giving you her story. Mm-hmm. Right. So all we can do is give her love and light and show her other ways, like Brother Umar Johnson tried to do and act like he did the worst crime just by being cool with a girl from the ghetto. I mean, Come on, man. Exactly. That's where all this shit started at. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's where I'm at with it, brother. So thank you again. And You're very welcome. Brother, all right. Thank you so much for having me, and I want y'all to have a good evening, okay? Ashe, you too.
Ashe. All right,
Okay,
peace and
peace.
blessings. Peace.
Okay. Wow, that was full. That was real full. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play Ride, and I'll be right back. I mean, I'm about to end the live in a minute, but I need to calm it down. The energy is so full in here. Thank you guys, everybody, and anybody that tapped in. If you didn't tap in, make sure you do tap in, because these are important discussions. I don't want to see you half-ass conscious and you're not tapping in and being a solution to the problem, because there's some problems within the community. And some people are just armchair revolutionaries and armchair consciousness. But what can we do really to create a more global harmony and a space for healing, and Black people being a part of that, Native Americans, which are Black people, being a part of that, all of us, all over the Pan-African move. So like I said, I'm closing out now. So thank you for everybody that joined and tapped in. I'll be closing out on my song Ride. Again, this is a anthem for Black Power when I was really deep into that. Still into it, but not, I'm about soul power. You know what I mean? We got to get to that soul power so we can have the real Black power. Don't y'all know discipline is really liberation? So once we get into those spaces, anyway, y'all check out Ride for a minute. Y'all can find this on YouTube or streaming on DistroKid. This is by Cola Sojek on my album Trap Magic Book 1, The Root. Organically, I'm gonna name honey on activate, the light we permeate, and the gods we emulate. Black boys, they exterminate, scream, don't shoot, but the bullets resonate. Cops be trigger happy, pushing around weight. G's become kings now checkmate. They try to keep us down, keep us in a dead state. Resilience is the only trait that helps us elevate. No church, no school, didn't really educate me in this metaphysical reality of vibrate. Still thrice great. Dead presidents will rinse tape. Won't hesitate if I'm popping this thing. I ain't straight. No, I'm not a killer, but I will pop cake. Full penetration with my rounds rotate. From Bruce to Cake, my 38 mutilate. Main cause demonstrates. You're not ready for the state. Yes, I'm still fresh, no expiration date. Shape shifting and folding my body to a figure eight. Then I gotta go purge all the drama that I ate biologically or one with power to recreate. Cause cola back then don't break. I learned from all my mistakes. Levitating when I step over snakes. Soul food with a cop bar snitch or Jake. I'ma wait, don't need you to give me a fate. Gods and goddesses coming out stargates. We build pyramids, the God mind state. You crawling out the cave like Johnny come late. Different the people telling them it's a prime rate, but you're not up in my class, but I find primate as the earth rotate. I'm bringing the earthquake. We running this shit, bruh. Planet of the apes, apes, apes. It's time to ride. It's nation time. Red, black, and green is the flag I fly with my arm in my hand, put it up in the sky and just ride, 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 ride,